Hey gang, this is the Soldano Astro-20, the new amplifier from Soldano Amplification. It's been a while since we've gotten a new design from Soldano. This is the business. In a world where we've got tons of digital and then we've got tons of analog over here, this is sort of bridging that gap. It's a fully tube head with digital back end. So that whole opening tune was the tube head going direct out of the digital cab simulation. And you'll see here, this shows you which cabs you're using. And then you've got essentially three plus channels. I'll explain more later. Going there. You could run it into a cab. It sounds awesome. You could run it direct. You could run it headphones. It sounds awesome. It's a Soldano. On the surface, it might seem a little complicated, so I'm going to put on a scientist hat and try and break this down very simply for you. Let's go. The Astro-20 is a 3-channel, 20-watt amplifier featuring 4 12AX7 preamp tubes and 2 6V6 power amp tubes. The clean channel is crystal clear with a separate volume, tone, and 3-position brightness switch. The Gain 1 and Gain 2 channels have independent gain and volume controls while sharing bass, middle, and treble. The master output section has a global master volume, a presence control, and a 3-position depth switch that adds varying degrees of bottom end and heft to the sound. The rear panel of the Astro-20 has speaker outputs, an effects loop, a headphone output, as well as the main IR balanced output, a USB port, and a MIDI port for the included 4-button foot switch. The color of the front panel light corresponds to one of the 4 tonal galaxies. Green is dedicated to the clean channel, while blue, purple, and red can be assigned in any combination to the Gain 1 or Gain 2 channels. The 6 smaller orbit lights correspond to the selected IR for the direct IR output. The Astro-20 ships with a nice selection of IRs, but you can easily load your own with the Soldano editor through USB. But if you never want to connect to the computer, that's totally fine because the Galaxy, IRs, and channels are totally assignable from the front panel of the amp as well. The Astro-20 sounds incredible through a 412 cab, but to show off the technology a bit, I'm going to run it through the balanced IR out. So I'm plugged in to the head. The head is going straight into my converters from the balanced IR out. And you can see in the Soldano editor that my channel 1 is represented with the green galaxy. Here's the bright switch to the left. And to the right, which is the brightest. Maybe do that. I'll show you a few more green clean examples with Strat style guitar. And I changed the IR to a Soldano 112 cab with the Celestian red in there. Red back. Here I switch the cab to a Soldano 212. Here I've got my Mercury 7 reverb pedal plugged into the effects loop of the Astro-20 to get a little reverb. Let's get really wet here. Simple controls, a lot of beautiful clean tones available. Now let's switch over to the gain channels. For each of the gain channels, I have 3 Galaxy tone choices here. So for right now, let's just look at gain 1 I can choose blue, purple, or red. I'm going to choose blue. Blue bridges the gap between the crystal clear and the hard rock and gain tones. It's an incredibly versatile channel. Here I can also choose a preferred cabinet. Purple takes over where blue left off, giving a more of a brown sound, a brighter approach, and a little higher gain from where blue came from. Red is pure Soldano DNA, those big, round, high gain tones. That's the sound of the Galaxies, but I get to choose channel 1. I can go for, say, blue. Channel 2, I can make my lead sound. But what's really cool is you have a 4-button MIDI foot switch. So you're not limited to those 3 channels. That 4th button, you could assign another mode. So for instance, on the foot switch, 1 can be the clean. 2, a lower gain blue. 3 could be a higher gain purple. And then 4 could be a higher gain blue because I assigned blue to the higher gain 2 setting. You could set up the amp to be a gain machine, or maybe you want it to be mostly clean and slightly overdriven. You can do that, or really anything in between. The entire spectrum of gain tones is available. Now I have the Astro-20 plugged into that 412 cab there. If you're running direct, you don't need to plug into anything. That's kind of nice. You don't need a load box. You just plug it straight in. Now, if of course I'm plugged into that cabinet, I have each of the 4 modes assigned to one of the foot switches. If you have a separate MIDI controller, you could assign like any combination of presets there. So, but I chose to do this so I could just walk you through it real quick. So I'm in green, super simple. And then I have blue set to channel 2, and it's set to a fairly low gain setting, and the blue is just superb. It does really nice cleans all the way up to like an AC/DC kind of thing. That channel alone is amazing, and what's great is I could have 2 of those, so I set it to channel 1 and channel 2, which I kind of do a lot of the time. It's really great. But here's blue set to channel 2. And now I have the 3rd foot switch set to change channel 2 to purple. So it's still channel 2, all the settings are the same, but I'm going to a different mode, which is a little more biting, cutting edge kind of thing. Now the 4th foot switch I have set to channel 3, red mode. This is the most gain, but I haven't changed anything on the amp. and everything is really nice and balanced. Even though it has a shared EQ controls, I find it really easy to find settings that just balance across the modes. They're really dialed in nicely. Now, if you're going direct, you have an added benefit of you could contour the IRs. That IR is going to completely change the character of the sound going through it. So you can get a super metal or a lead tone without changing actually the amp settings or the channel. So that is the Soldano Astro-20, 20 watt 3+ channel amplifier, digital backend, or all tube head, however you want to run it. It's there for you. If you want to know more, I'll put some links below. If you want to click some of them links, that's great. If not, it's sold at stores that sell awesome amps. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you later.